what's up guys? Welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Victoria here today with another video, guys. Today I'm doing a story time. As you can read by this title, it's going to be based on my labor and delivery story. So you probably hear my baby in the background. She was just asleep, but she woke up. So go ahead and get your popcorn, your snacks, your drink, your wine, whatever you're drinking on, whatever you're eating on. Go ahead and snuggle up in your covers and listen to the story because it gets good. But okay, so I had my baby August the 3rd at 5:28 p.m. She was 7 pounds, 8.5 ounces, so she was almost 9 pounds. But, she was almost 8 pounds. But, honestly, it was not that bad. Me looking back, it wasn't that bad. But me going through it, it still wasn't that bad, but I was definitely ready to get it over with. So, I'll just go back to where it started. Let's see. August the 1st is when I actually woke up at about 5 something that morning. And you know, when you're that close to giving birth, okay, let me back it up. Okay, so my due date was August the 7th. I had my baby August the 3rd. So I was scheduled to be induced August the 7th because I was trying to get my baby out. Oh, I was trying to get her out so hard, but she was so stubborn up until I had her. And she would not come out. So my doctor was like, let's go ahead and just schedule an induction date, which was her birth date, her due date, August the 7th. She came on August the 3rd, but I was in labor since August the 1st. So that's where we'll go. That's where we'll start off at. Like 5 in the morning, I woke up out of my sleep because I was hurting so bad. I mean, it wasn't so bad, but it woke me up out of my sleep. So I'm like, here I am thinking like, okay, yeah, this is it. I'm having contractions because they were back to back. They were 5 minutes apart. I was counting them. They were 5 minutes apart. Sometimes every now and then they'd be like 7 minutes, and then they go to 10 minutes, and then 20 minutes, then they go back to 5 minutes. So I called my mom. Well, I woke my boyfriend up, and he was like, you think you're in labor? You want to go to the doctor? And I'm like, yeah, I probably need to go to the doctor, this and that. So I called my mom, and she was like, yeah, you're in labor because they're back to back, and you know, I can see that, like, she seen that I was hurting. So she was like, go ahead and call your nurse. So I called my nurse, and by this time it was like 7 or 8 in the morning, and she was not answering for whatever reason. So I just went straight to the doctor. So when I went to the doctor, they checked me, and I was not dilated at all. And this is the part where it bothers me because, okay, for me, only me, every woman is different, every body is different, every pain tolerance is different. But for me, the cervix checks is what hurt the worst, y'all. I could not take it. The cervix checks were terrible, like 0 out of 5, would not recommend, okay? No, but seriously, they were bad. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. They were bad, like. Okay, so before I was even, like, you know, in labor, they had to check my cervix when I was like, I think it starts when you're 37 weeks. They check your cervix every week, but they only checked mine once because for me it was optional. But they checked me before I even went into labor, and it hurt, but it wasn't that bad. But when you are at your actual doctor, it's different nurses that's not familiar with you. They're just doing their job. They're just going in and coming out, so they don't really care, you know, if it hurts or not. But it hurt. So when I got to the doctor that morning, they had to check my cervix. The lady that did it, she was like, the lady that checked my cervix had to go up there 3 times, and she still did not get it. Like, she still couldn't feel because I was moving so much, y'all. Like, that's how bad it hurts for me. I don't do no cervix check. I can't do a cervix check. Sorry, let me fix my camera. Like honestly, I'm traumatized from the cervix checks. I'm not even exaggerating. For me though, this is for me. Some women say that it don't bother them that bad, but me, it hurts. Like, it hurts. Like, and if you don't know what a cervix check is, that's when they go up in you with their fingers. Supposedly 2 fingers, but girl, it's the whole hand. It's the whole hand. It's the whole hand, period. Like, it can't be 2 fingers. It's the whole hand. So they go all the way up in you. Come on, crybaby. Hey. So they go all the way up Y'all seen that? She being bad. What is it, mama? Yeah, it hurt so bad. Like they stick supposedly 2 fingers in you and they go all the way up, like all the way up, just to see if you're dilated, which means like your cervix is opening. So the lady who was doing mine, the first lady, she had to do it 3 times because it was hurting so bad that she could not get where she needed to be. And she was like, I just can't. So we're gonna have to give you a break. And then my nurse, no. So she was like, well, to give you a break. And then my actual doctor came in and did it for me. So about 20 minutes later, I'm still having contractions. They're still 5 to 7 minutes apart. And they're hurting, but not like. As you progress in your labor, you see that what you were feeling at first wasn't bad. If that makes sense. I'll get to that in a minute. But it got to be about 20 minutes later. My actual doctor came in. It was a lady. She came in and she checked me. And it hurt, but it didn't hurt as bad as the first time because they had already been up there 3 times. So I just finally decided to let them do it. And I was not dilated at all. And they said that they could not do anything for me because I wasn't dilated. So all they could do was send me home. Even though my contractions were 5 minutes apart, they were close. And they were like on the dot, like 5 to 7 minutes on the dot. So, hey. So they still could not do anything for me. So she just sent me home. She was like, if it gets worse, just call us back or just come on back up here. We'll check you again. And if you're dilated, then we'll keep you and we'll start, helping you out with the pain. So I'm like, okay. So I go back home. It's still August the 1st. I go back home. Hi. Hey. Sorry, y'all. So it's probably like 12 now, like 12 in the afternoon. And I go back home and I'm determined, me and my boyfriend are determined to get this baby out of me like that night because again, my contractions were back to back. My contractions were back to back. So it was hurting all day, like all day long. And so I was determined to get the baby out. So I came home and my boyfriend, he actually went to sleep because he thought that I was gonna go in labor soon. So he wanted to go ahead and get his sleep out because, he worked 3rd shift or whatever. So my mom came over here and my sisters and brothers, and they all came over here and they stood with me and sat with me while I had my contractions that were back to back. And finally, I tried to take a little nap. I took like a little 20-minute nap. And when my mom left, about 2 or 3 hours later, I got up, started bouncing on the exercise ball. I remember I went up some stairs that's in my apartment complex. I went up and down those stairs. Me and my boyfriend did squats. And pretty much it wasn't really nothing. It wasn't really nothing except for contractions back to back that whole day. So I didn't get no sleep except for like maybe 20 minutes. That night, it was probably like an hour of sleep because I was contracting back to back. So the contractions, they feel, I don't even remember, like they hurt, they do hurt. But if you breathe through them, you can get through them. But I'll get to that. So it's still August 1st. It's like that night. And me and my boyfriend are trying to sleep. Again, I told you I only got like an hour of sleep. So when, y'all, I'm trying to remember this. I don't remember. But so that night, after my hour of sleep, that's when I could not sleep anymore. It was probably like 3 o'clock, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. So it was August the 2nd. Y'all, this whole time I have been, no. So scratch that. When I said August 1st, I meant August the 2nd. Her birthday is August 3rd. I wasn't in labor for 3 days. I was in labor for 2 days. So that was August the 2nd. So now, when I told you after I got my hour of sleep, August the 3rd was that night. That was the morning that I got. You get what I'm saying, y'all. But I'm sorry, y'all. I'm sorry if I'm like everywhere. I'm trying to concentrate on her. And I'm trying to remember this story because I really don't remember it at all. Like, I'm trying to remember. That night, it turned into August the 3rd. And that's when I was having like very, very, very bad contractions. So me and my boyfriend started timing them again. But again, they were already 5 to 7 minutes apart that previous day. So by this time, they were still like 5 minutes apart. Some of them were like 3 minutes apart. And it's like, I want to say it's like 4 in the morning when I realized like, sorry. It's like 6 in the morning when they started getting unbearable for me. So my boyfriend, he's up with me the whole time. And literally like every 5 minutes we're just like, okay, so we're chilling, and then every 5 minutes I have a contraction. He helps me breathe through it. It was like that the whole night. So at about 6 o'clock, I realized it was unbearable for me. So my boyfriend called my mom, because I didn't want to call my mom because I didn't want to go to the hospital because I didn't think I was dilated. So my boyfriend called my mom, and he was like, she's having contractions. So she's asking me, like, you know, how far apart they are. And she's staying on the phone with me to make sure that, like, you know, to help me count the timing of them and all, and help me get through them, help me breathe. So I was gonna wait till 8 o'clock that morning to go to my doctor's office, not the hospital, my doctor's office, for them to check me. And then if I was dilated, I was gonna go to the hospital. But my mom was like, that's crazy, because if you're dilated, you can just go ahead and stay at the hospital. There's no point in you waiting, because labor can go like that. So you can dilate like really fast. So it got to be about 7 o'clock, and I'm like, okay, I'm going to the doctor, because this is unbearable. Like, it was unbearable to the point, like, y'all, I bit my boyfriend's shoulder. If you watching this, babe, I'm sorry. I love you. But yeah, I bit his shoulder because it hurt so bad. But he did help me breathe through them, and I'll get through that. I'll go through that as well at the end of this video. But so yeah, so I went ahead and went to the hospital. So when I got there, they checked me again. It was painful. I hate cervix checks, but yeah, so they checked me again, and I was 4 centimeters dilated, y'all. 4 centimeters. So by this time, I'm ready to go, y'all. I'm ready to go. I'm ready to get her out of me, because I had already been contracting all day, the previous day, all night, all morning. So I'm like, let's go. Let's just get this baby out. So they went ahead and gave me my IV. After they checked my cervix, they gave me my IV, which that doesn't hurt. And then they gave me the COVID test. And honestly, y'all, that was not that bad. Like, it wasn't that bad. It feels like, you know, if you have the flu and they go up your nose, that's exactly what it feels like. And it's like real quick. So it's like real quick. So that didn't hurt at all. But yeah, they gave me that COVID test, and after that, it was time to get the epidural, y'all. And by this time, I'm still contracting, I'm still hurting, but I'm ready to get the epidural because I could not take it no more. Even though I was only 4 centimeters, no, it hurt. It hurt too bad. Like, I don't remember how painful it hurt, but I remember it hurting, if that makes sense. Because after you give birth, you don't really remember how painful how painful your experience was, period. You don't remember how painful it is, but you remember that it's painful. But I remember that cervix check, y'all. I don't care. I'm gonna tell y'all this until this whole video is over with. The cervix check hurts. So if you're pregnant, you about to give a labor, be prepared for that. Be prepared for that. But don't base it off of my experience, because everybody's pain tolerance is different. Like, for me, the cervix check hurt worse than the contractions. I got the epidural so soon because I've been contracting all day. So by this time, I was exhausted. I'm just like, I just want some relief, because again, they were 5 to 7 minutes apart the whole time for over a day, over 24 hours. So the anesthesiologist comes into my room, and you know, he tells me like the procedure of giving me the epidural. I wasn't too nervous about the epidural. I just wanted to hurry up and get some relief from those contractions. But the epidural, it didn't hurt for me. It stung when they put the medicine on you. Like, I guess, I don't know how I couldn't see it, but they put some type of medicine on your back to numb you, and that stung. Like, I jerked up when they put it up because it stung. They say that it feels like a bee sting, but I never got stung by a bee, so I don't know how that feels, but I guess that's how it feels. So yeah, after that, all I remember saying is, oh, I'm having a contraction. And then the anesthesiologist, he was like, you're having a contraction? And I'm like, mm-hmm. And he's still doing it. Like, he didn't even wait until my contraction was over with, but whatever. So I was having my contraction, and when my contraction was over, he's like, all right, you're done. I'm like, you put it in already? And he was like, yeah, it's already in. So, I mean, I didn't feel an epidural at all. But it took about, I want to say about 5 minutes for the epidural to kick in. And y'all, the epidural is your best friend. Like, your best friend. How far am I into this video? 16 minutes, okay. It's like your best friend, literally. What happened after that? So I remember when I was like, all I remember is the doctor was like, okay, how was that contraction? And I was like, I had a contraction? He was like, okay, so I guess my job is done. So by that point, I could not feel anything. Like, anything below, I want to say, like right, like your stomach and below, I want to say. You don't feel anything. Like it's literally like dead weight. Like you can't even lift your leg up. It's like dead weight. You don't feel the epidural. You don't. Like you hit, like if you hit your leg, you can feel it, but you don't actually feel it. If that makes sense. But yeah, that was my best friend. They did some cervix checks on me. I didn't feel that, so I was good. I was real good. So after I got my epidural, it wasn't too much going on. Me and my boyfriend took a little nap, and I was so excited I really couldn't sleep. But we took a nap. They didn't come check me again until a couple hours later, and when he did check me, I was 7 centimeters dilated. So it's almost time to roll at this point. And again, I'm not feeling nothing. I'm just chilling. I'm talking. I'm asleep. You know, one thing you can't eat though. You can't eat, and I was starving. So that's the only thing that was bothering me, was that I was starving. I was eating popsicles back to back. But but yeah. So I was 7 centimeters dilated, and that's when my doctor was like, your baby's heart rate is slowing down, and you're not dilating fast enough, so we may have to do a C-section, which I did not want, y'all. I did not want that at all. So that's when I started getting a little scared, but I was so tired. It's like you can't do anything. So they gave me this little peanut ball. It's like the shape of a peanut, and they put it between your legs, and they turn you on your side, and that's supposedly supposed to help you dilate, which it did. It actually got me to 9 centimeters. Yeah, it got me to 9 centimeters, and in about, I want to say like 30 minutes maybe, I was 9 centimeters. So eventually I just got to 10 centimeters, and it's time to push. So my nurse came in there, and they set me up to push or whatever. And that pushing, like people think pushing hurts. Pushing is not the part that hurts. It's just the contractions in that cervix check. But yeah, but pushing, it didn't hurt for me. Pushing is just tiring. It's very tiring. It's like, and for me, this little stubborn girl, she was in some position where I had to push her out of that position, if that makes sense. Like she was under, like, I don't know, she was like under my pelvic bone. She was under my pelvic bone, and I had to like push her head from under there because she wasn't doing it herself. That's how the doctor explained it to me. I don't know. Well, the nurse. That's how they explained it to me. But I was pushing for like an hour and a half, y'all. And that's just tiring. And my contractions wasn't coming fast enough for me to keep on pushing. And by this time, my epidural had wore off on my left side. So I didn't feel it didn't feel terrible, but I could feel the contraction. But it wasn't all the way worn off, so it wasn't that bad, but it did hurt. But when you push, it relieves the pain. So I didn't really feel the contraction, if that makes sense. I only felt it when it was coming on, and then when I realized I was having one, they was like, okay, you can push. So I pushed. So it relieved the pain while I was pushing. But yeah, it was like it had started wearing off on my left side, and again I was pushing and pushing, and she was just taking her little time. She wasn't coming out of her position that I needed her to get out of in order to push her like out. So they gave me some Pitocin in my IV, and that sped up my contractions to like 2 minutes apart, 1 minute apart, 2 minutes, 3 minutes. So I was pushing and pushing and pushing. So then they told me to hold on because they had to go get my actual doctor. And when they got my doctor, he came in, and he told me to do about 3 pushes. I did 3 pushes, and she was out. And they put her on my stomach, and the rest is just, it's just unexplainable. Like they put you on your they put her on your stomach, they put the baby on your stomach, and it's like you don't hear anything, you don't see anything but your baby. So like people was telling me congratulations. My mom was on the phone, my boyfriend's mom was on the phone, the doctors was telling me congratulations, and at the same time I'm holding her, and he's like taking the placenta out and stuff like that. I don't feel it because again I had the epidural, but yeah, I didn't feel it. I was so focused on her and so in love with her, I didn't feel anything after that. So yeah, like the only part where I was actually in pain is before I got the epidural, and while I was pushing when the contractions was coming, and I felt it on my left side. But again, it wasn't too bad because pushing, you relieve the pain. But yeah, it wasn't that bad at all. But I do just want to tell you, if you are about to give labor, make sure you breathe through your contractions, because that's the only thing that's gonna get you through it, is breathing until you get the epidural. If you want the epidural, breathe through it. And by breathing, I forgot how I did it. I think you have to like, you'll find your way of breathing once they actually come. I can't really explain it to you, but you have to breathe and you have to focus, because if you actually try to like go crazy, it's gonna hurt worse, which that's what I did when I bit my boyfriend's shoulder, and it hurt worse. So I had to remember to breathe. It's very hard. It's harder than it looks, but as you keep on dilating and as the contractions get worse, you're gonna want to breathe, because that's the only thing you can do until you get the epidural, if you get the epidural. So I mean, yeah, my experience, it wasn't too bad. It wasn't as painful as it could have been, but yeah, it was pretty smooth. I got an epidural. I didn't have to end up getting a C-section. I pushed her in an hour and a half, which is long to me, but the rest is just history, y'all. The rest, you know, my stay at the hospital, it wasn't bad. After that, they don't really do anything other than they have to push on your stomach to make sure that you know they got everything out, and that wasn't bad for me because I had the epidural. I'm telling y'all, epidural is your best friend, isn't it, Pooh? It's your best friend. But yeah, it wasn't bad. That was my experience. Now again, I am my own person. I have my own pain tolerance, my own experience. Yours may not be as smooth as mine. Yours could be smoother than mine. It all just depends on your body and your, you know, your nurses. You know, my nurses, they made it to where I was pretty comfortable, if that makes sense. Like, they were nice, they were encouraging. My mom was there for me. My boyfriend's mom was there for me. My boyfriend was there for me. He was such a good help, y'all. Like, such a good help. Yeah, he was. Yeah. He was such a good help. And literally, I wish I could go. As crazy as it sounds, I wish I could go back and have her all over again, y'all. Because it was just so, like, when they put her on your stomach, when they put your baby on your stomach, you realize how worth it, like, all that was. You realize how much, like, how, you just really, I don't know, I can't explain it, but it's just crazy. Like, you realize, like, I'm a mom, I'm a woman, like, I just gave birth to this beautiful baby. I would do it all over again, 100 times again, all for her. Like, you realize so much about yourself. And I probably sound crazy because I say I'll go through it again. I don't remember that pain, y'all. I don't remember the pain. If you ever hear a mom say, oh, it's not that bad, or I don't really remember the pain, like how I'm saying, it's because we really don't. After your baby comes out, pain what? You don't remember you don't remember how bad it is. So just know, as soon as your baby come out, you will be perfectly fine. And if you are about to give birth, I wish you well. I wish you a healthy baby, a healthy, safe labor and delivery. I wish you the best. You will be a great mom if you are watching this. Thank you for watching this. That is my story. It wasn't too much in it. Again, my experience was pretty smooth, so it wasn't, you know, a crazy story. But, you know, that's just something. I know when I was pregnant, I used to watch everybody's experience. So if you're bored at home and you're pregnant, you can watch this, and, you know, mine wasn't so bad. So I'm not going to be one of those people who was like, oh, it hurts so bad, other than the cervix check. When it's like, oh, it hurts so bad, you're going to be screaming, this and this and that. No, you're not. You'll be fine. You'll be fine. It's one of those things where once you go, like, when it's actually happening, you're just going through it. It's not like you're not thinking about, oh, I'm so scared it's gonna happen, it's gonna hurt, it's this and this and that. You're not gonna think like that. You're just gonna go through it, because what can you do? You can't do nothing. You gotta go through it. So yeah, that is the end of this video. I done taught my baby to sleep. She is all the way asleep. I'll put some pictures of her at the end, because I don't think you guys got a good look at her. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Thanks for supporting. Make sure you subscribe to my channel, and yeah, turn on your post notifications. And right now I'm just rambling, so I'm gonna end the video. Thank you. Bye.